Hey, hi everyone. It's Friday. Welcome to New Day, New Word. And I have such a great word for us today. I think this is something that it's kind of a little twist on what we usually do, but I think that you'll enjoy it. I know I enjoyed looking into it, and our letter today is Y, so we're right down to the wire, and then we'll start up all over again. But I'm enjoying this, and if you're enjoying it, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love for you to give me a like or say hi or offer a suggestion. I'm always open to that, so that's great. But before, I just want to say one thing, because I really don't talk too much about what I'm doing personally, but I do want to share with you my exciting news, which is that book 2 of my book, and my book is Calm, Creative, Joyful. Let me get a copy here. Yeah, here it is. You're going to see it backwards, I guess, right? But here's the book. This is book 1. But book 2 is coming out. And I just want to tell you, for those of you who are not familiar, my hair is sticking up here. If you are not familiar with my book, I just want to tell you a tiny little bit about it, and then we'll get to our word for the day. It's what I like to call an inspirational daily reader. It's based on the lessons of A Course in Miracles, which is my spiritual path. And what it does is it helps us to look at ourselves and our whole world in a totally different way so that we can be peaceful. That's the goal of everything that I do, is to help myself and everyone else learn how to live in peace within ourselves and with everyone around us. And that's easy with people we love and get along with, but sometimes not so easy when we're dealing at work, or when we're dealing in our cars, driving in traffic, or even within ourselves, how we feel about ourselves, how we see ourselves. So working with A Course in Miracles has changed my life. And so I feel very powerfully strong about sharing that with other people. And so this book, as I said, is an inspirational daily reading. You just read 1 or 2 pages a day. That's all it is. And it just gives you a thought, an idea, something to work with, something to help you maybe expand your consciousness and see things more peacefully. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Check it out. It's for sale on Amazon. Calm, Creative, Joyful. Marcia Grace. Okay. All right. So I'm tagging you, Shane. Shane is here. Yes, absolutely. I'm so happy. Thank you. Thank you. And George. Hello, George. So today's word, without further ado, because we're up to the letter Y, is yellow. Now, we've never done a color word. It's the first time we're doing a color word. And I love this because it just opens up a whole category of things we've never spoken about before. And I think this is just really, really exciting. So let's talk about yellow. So of course, the first thing, I mean, if you're a visual person, as I am, you will, maybe see a lemon, or you'll see a sunflower, or something yellow will pop into your inner eye there, and you'll see that beautiful color, right? So it comes from the French, yellow, I guess, however you pronounce it, is where the word comes, that the word itself comes from. But of course, it's that color, or that portion of the spectrum, as I read in my handy-dandy Webster's Dictionary, between green and orange. Okay, so it's a primary color in our color wheel. So we all know that, right? That's obvious. All right, but let's look at some other ways that the word yellow is used. And there are so many. If I tell you, it goes on for several pages in my huge Webster's Dictionary. All right, so another way is, and maybe this is the next thing you thought of when you heard the word yellow, was how it's used in a derogatory way to say someone is yellow, meaning they're cowardly, right? They have a yellow streak, right? You might say, I have a yellow streak. If I was in the jungle and I came across a tiger, man, I would run the other way, right? I'd be I'd have a yellow streak a mile wide. All right, so that's probably another very obvious way we think of the word yellow. Some other ways. How about this? how about in the sense of aging? Um, I know maybe last year I went into my closet to look for a tablecloth. Maybe it was last year. It was years ago actually. I went to find an old tablecloth that I was going to put on my table, and discovered that because of time and neglect, the tablecloth had yellowed. So it was no longer white; it was now yellow. So it's an aging thing, right? So that's another way we think of the word yellow. Oh, this is fun, right? All right, how about another one? Um, Now here, this is interesting. Have you heard the expression yellow journalism? I'm sure you have, right? And what does that refer to? That refers to what we call today fake news. It's sensational or distorted news, something that has some validity to it, perhaps, or about someone who's a real person, but otherwise is a bunch of hot air, right? So, yellow journalism, very interesting. And let's see. And it's interesting too that green plants like your grass, if it's dying, or a plant, or when you buy a bouquet of flowers and after a week they start to get yellow, right? So it is a sign of aging, this yellowing process. All right. And one other one oh no, yeah, two other things I didn't mention yet. The skin color. Of course, yellow is associated with jaundice. If you're That's a disease, right? So you get sick, you get jaundice, your skin turns yellow. But also with skin color. So it's often, or in the past it has been. I don't really think it's used really today too much. But in the past it's been said of yellow-skinned people, like Asian people have been called yellow-skinned. And interestingly, again, this is I don't think it's used anymore, but the African Americans use the term high yellow for light-skinned a black person. So there's something else. And the other thing that's very interesting, this amazing how many different ways this word yellow is used. I just find that absolutely amazing. And one of the ways that shows how difficult English as a language is to learn, for foreign speakers. I mean, I can't even imagine having to learn English. And I've studied a lot of languages. I've studied, when I was at college, I studied ancient Greek and ancient Hebrew, and I don't think they're nearly as difficult as English is. The last thing I want to mention about yellow is the chakra yellow. The third chakra is yellow in the chakra system, the ancient Ayurvedic system, and it's the solar plexus. It's right around the rib cage here in the middle of your body, and it's kind of indicative of the nervous system, and it symbolizes intellect and will. So again, something so totally and completely different for this one word, yellow, and different symbology, just the whole thing is just, to me, it's just remarkable. I was having such a good time with this. So I hope you found that interesting. So getting back to the idea of the very common usage of yellow as being cowardly, I want to turn that back on ourselves a little bit and just say that sometimes being cautious, we could use cautious really in that way too, is not a bad thing. We should be cautious. To just run blindly into life can be harmful to our safety if we're not lucky. So, the idea of cowardliness is understandable, and in certain circumstances. Of course, there are people who just will not face life at all, and we could say that they're cowardly, or they're being yellow and not facing their responsibilities and stuff like that. So, of course, in that sense, we can take a look at ourselves and say, am I like that? Do I kind of, step back and not allow myself to experience life fully and to take responsibility when I'm supposed to, when I should, and do the things that need to get done so that I can feel good about myself, so that I can enjoy my life, so that I can be with people and feel respected, be respected and feel respected myself. So so it's a good way to just internalize this yellow color and see how much of that is part of us. We could go into the whole chakra system and talk about red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and all that, which is a wonderful topic, but I'm not going to go there today. And all those things that they symbolize, but today let's just look at yellow and see for yourself how much yellow do you have within you. How much are you willing to step forward sometimes and do what you need to do? Be proactive in your life, and allow yourself to take control, take charge, and in a positive way, in a way that says, yes, I can do this, and I will do this, and so I can feel good and feel positive and feel helpful, right? To me, the most beautiful thing in the world is to be helpful to other people, because in the end, it's a selfish thing. I think, the way I look at it, selfish in a good way, meaning that it makes me feel good. So I'm selfish when I'm helping other people because it's making me feel good. So, all right, I think that's about it. Have a beautiful weekend, and hopefully you will join me again next week on Friday, and many blessings. Bye-bye.